hero.
Oh.
You were a good guy to me, man. You were a good guy. And my little brother's eyes when that building really like caught on fire, you could just
How old was he?
8.
Wow.
Yeah. And you showed me your burns, you told me all your like stories, like you took a lot of time with me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice to hear. I don't really remember it, but wow.
That's okay. That's okay because Laura doesn't remember like much of it either. Like she literally came in to my room so that we could talk to each other and see if there were any mannerisms that we might share, so that our character would like continue to have those mannerisms as she grew up and stuff. She doesn't remember that.
Well, not now anyway.
Oh.
Just saying. Unfortunately, we lost Laura recently, and in April, and it's a terrible thing. She was amazing to work with, and she, as far as the Friday movies I did, her character was the only one that ever effectively battled Jason, and that's why it's always will be my favorite film.
It's my favorite too, not just because we were in it. The storyline was great.
How was the auditioning process for you?
The auditioning was good. It was my first time ever auditioning for a movie. I was the last one. You never want to be the first one, and you never want to be the last one. The first one, they're gonna fucking forget about you, and the last one, they're not even gonna pay attention to you. So I'm sitting there talking to my mom while I'm waiting, and I'm like, Mom, like, do we just leave? Like, should I even go in? So when I went in there, I said, can I have a moment? And I turned my back and I walked to the back of the room. And then when I turned around, I was just crying, and I was like, I got this. I had to do something. I had to do something to stand out because,
That's amazing. You guys already know, I think most of you, that I never auditioned for the part. I did a movie with John Beekler, who directed our movie the previous year with Rennie Harlan, and it was a movie called Prison. And I was the stunt coordinator, and I played a character in full makeup at the end of the movie. And because of that performance, Beekler said, this is the guy that's going to play Jason, and when he was hired to direct Part 7. And so, fortunately, I never had to do any of that auditioning, because that's stressful. And you don't know if you're going to get it and all that, but it was more Beekler convincing Paramount that I should play the character, because they kept saying, he's not really tall enough. And and Beekler just kept fighting with them, saying, trust me, this is the guy that should play the character. And, I have to assume that he was correct, considering I did 3 more after that one, but it was all because of him.
it only takes one person to believe in you.
Yeah.
It's true. It's super true.
Now's your chance to shine, everybody. We talked about this beforehand. I know you had a question. You wanted to be first. So what's your question?
Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, you did some of the motion capture for the kills in the Friday the 13th game. And so my question is, how much of like a disjoint was that between like doing it from like a set on a movie and a set for a video game of that nature?
Right. I actually did all the kills, not some. The entire game, the Friday the 13th game, I played Jason in the entire thing. And since we did Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 together, I also played Leatherface in that game. And Grandpa, which most people don't know. In the Chainsaw game, I played Grandpa also. Very minor performance because he doesn't do much. But it's a whole different process, because motion capture, you're wearing a spandex suit, you have no makeup, no prosthetics, no wardrobe. It's just that mocap suit with the sensors on it. But what was really helpful when I didn't realize this until I started the Friday game, was that I could stand on the motion capture stage, which is just a grid work floor, and I don't know how many, 60 cameras or something, capturing everything from every possible angle simultaneously. So while I was standing on the motion capture stage, I could look at a monitor that was facing us, and I could see myself already animated as Jason.
Oh.
So even though I didn't look like the character, I still used some props, and I could watch myself rehearsing on the screen, seeing how I was gonna look as Jason, and also Leatherface. So that helped quite a bit, because it's a weird thing if you don't have any wardrobe, makeup, all that stuff, playing a character like that. It's kind of different, but that helped tremendously. So I was very happy to do that, and then the Leatherface game, and who knows what's next.
You guys are all taking videos. I want to take videos.
Well, I know we got some more. Yes, sir.
When you jumped through the window, did you have how far did you have to run to get that leap in through the window, and how many times did you have to do that?
And this is part 7, right?
7, yes.
Yeah.
Because you're the only Jason that jumped through a window.
Is that right?
Yeah, they only threw
You're
a
the
body.
only
One
one
of
that
threw a
jumped
body
through
through a
a
window.
window.
But
Part 2, he jumped through,
It was tricky because
but it was a nightmare.
when Beekler showed me the window, of course it's breakaway, and you know what that is. It's the lame term is candy glass, but doesn't mean it can't hurt you. It's not real glass, and it doesn't shatter quite the same. But when John showed me the window, I said, "Oh shit, it's like not very big, and I have to jump through it with power. So I'm gonna have to duck my head and raise my feet just to jump through the window." And it was a little tricky, but my head barely missed the top of the window, which was practical. It was real wood. So it was good that I didn't hit anything there. And same thing with falling through the stairs. Yeah. It was written, again, you probably heard this story too, but it was written in the script that Tina makes the light move and then hits me in the chest, and I tumble down the stairs. And I said to Beekler, I think we can make that a little more exciting. So I said, why don't we have the light hit me in the face, because I have the mask on, and it's breakaway. It's not, again, not easy, but it's not as damaging. And then I'll just fall like a tree through the stairs. And he says, how do we do that? I said, well, we just make the section of the stairs that I'm gonna fall through balsa, so I can't walk up those when I'm falling. But I walked up the stairs, and then we cut and replaced the stairs with the balsa wood, and I fell back. And I love that shot because it's very hard to fall straight backwards like a tree, not knowing where you're gonna hit.
Right?
And I had boxes, which is what we used to do. I don't even think they use cardboard boxes anymore for high falls, but we always did. Cardboard boxes that have a pad on top, because it's a great landing area, because it collapses with you and there's no rebound. It's not like a porta pit like high jumpers and pole vaulters use. There's, you bounce. But with boxes, you just collapse into it. And we had those under the stairs, and I fell through, and you already know that my head was this close to the to the first real stair that I went through. I went through the last balsa stair, barely missing the real one, which would have not been good. And yeah, that's why I like this movie so much, because for a stunt guy, you do all kinds of stunts like that. My favorite fire stunt I ever did is in it. You know, so it'll always be my favorite memory of playing the character. There's a lot of fun things I did after that, but that movie in particular, from a stunt person's perspective, is just so much fun.
It was an introduction to action, Jason. You know, there was a lot of action in that.
There was, yeah. I mean, because nobody else could battle Jason effectively before Tina. And, you know, people tried, like the fucking boxer on the top of that. And by the way, Julius, that character, B.C. Dupree, is the actor, and he's starting to do cons, and at some point this year, I believe, we're gonna do a photo op with a rooftop backdrop. I'm in Part 8 costume, he's in his tracksuit, squaring off, and we're gonna have the fans be able to get between us. I think that'd be a great photo op.
All right, who else has one?
It's not really a question. It's more of a appreciative observation. I think you're one of the few characters that don't have any dialogue in this genre, which arguably was my generation's thing. But you actually gave Jason a voice.
Yeah.
Your body language capability, to where even without the mask, we could see. Like, did you really? Really? You didn't have to say anything. It's like it was just those subtle movements, because like everybody else, they just kind of plod along. And I love all my horror movies, but I really think you're one of the only people I've seen in the horror genre with no lines still be able to absolutely say something. And that takes a lot of skill to, when you have literally just a head and body to convey.
And movements,
Yeah.
and that's the fact that people appreciate that. I like it, because a lot of people think, well, you're not talking and you don't even use your face, so how is that acting? And I'm like, that makes it way harder.
Right?
Try to be scary without your voice and your face. Not easy. Without making it look like you're trying to be scary. And that's the toughest thing, is making it look natural but still frightening and not appear to be overacting.
Yes.
So yeah, and again, you've heard this before too, but I first put on the makeup, the entire makeup for makeup tests and photo op type situation, just seeing how it looked. And I would look in the mirror and with the entire thing on and see, how do I look more scary than the characters in the past? And that's when I tried the breathing thing, and I thought, oh shit, that kind of works. Where he's not moving really, but he looks like he's about to explode. And you know, it became kind of my trademark thing, but it was all because John Binkler gave me the opportunity to do that. With it's not a huge budget movie,
Right.
and you're a little time constraint on shooting, so you don't get a lot of time to rehearse and stuff like that. And Binkler made sure that I had that time,
Creative
and
freedom.
yeah, it paid off for me.
I know how it happened, because he's Kane motherfucking Hodder.
That is my middle name, by the way.
It's on your birth certificate. I believe that. I believe that. All right, who else has some questions out here?
Yeah, I had
Here
one.
we go.
Did you come up with an answer to that question I asked you at your table that kind of stumped you? I'm sorry if that was an unfair question, but
Share the question with the rest of the class.
sorry.
Share it now.
Well, we all know your 3 favorite kills, and
Or do we?
well, it's the sleeping bag,
That's the back.
frozen head, and then the dumpster head.
Right.
Is there one or any that were your least favorite? They were all great, but I'm sorry if that's unfair question, but is there ones that you didn't think were as good? Yeah.
Nobody has ever asked me that question. What's your least favorite kill you performed as Jason? Oh, shit. I don't think it would be a kill that I didn't like shooting, but there's a couple times where I did a kill and I watched it in the movie and I thought, it wasn't quite as good as it could have been. And, you know, ironically, sleeping bag is my favorite Jason kill.
Freaking great.
But
Yeah, it was great.
when we shot it, you weren't there when we shot it, were you? When we shot it, I slammed the sleeping bag against a tree like 4 times.
Yeah.
But
right, yeah.
it was edited down to just 1.
Yeah.
And when I first saw it, I was a little disappointed. I thought, fuck, I busted my ass swinging this 90-pound dummy
Yeah.
against the tree over and over, trying to look powerful, losing my balance, getting frustrated, and making it even more violent. And even though I think ultimately it was the right choice to have 1 hit, because it was just so
Over the top. Kinda.
yeah, so powerful and stunning that I wish there had been a version where you kept seeing me slam it.
Yeah.
Because you could see me get pissed off at myself for losing my balance and not looking powerful. And, you know, it still was the right choice, but that would probably be it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, who else has one?
Wait, so it's your favorite and your least favorite all at the same time?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
That's cool.
Complex answer.
Yeah.
Woo!
Good answer. Yeah.
What's your favorite kill?
Me? The sleeping bag kill.
Sleeping kill?
Yeah.
Sleeping bag? Okay,
Yeah.
second favorite.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
You
God.
guys are tricky, man.
I don't know.
Were you at the premiere at the Chinese that first night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which, you know,
With my godparents. They got to take me. It was very special.
the movie opened on Friday the 13th of May, 1988.
That's right.
And it happened to be my wife's birthday. That exact day was her birthday. And we weren't married yet, but we were quite serious. And I said, there's one thing we have to do for your birthday, and that's go see this movie. And she's like, oh. And it was at the Chinese theater when it was one theater. It's now broken up into 2 or 3, I think.
Yeah, it is.
But it was one giant theater, and Friday the 13th of May, the new Friday movie opens. It was probably one of my most exciting memories of my whole horror career is, you know, going to that
Yeah, that
theater,
was a fun
jam-packed,
Yeah.
people screaming
Yeah.
and just going nuts. And, you know, nobody knew me then at all, because I just played the character, and it was the opening night of the movie. So nobody even had seen the performance yet. So it was very exciting.
Yeah, I love that premiere. That was a good experience.
Who else has one? There we go.
Question. So, would you consider yourself a fan of any of the other Jasons that you did not play?
Yes, I would. I have always thought that CJ did a good job, part 6. Ted White did great in part 4. And I think Richard Brooker, he's been gone too long, but I think he did a good job in part 3. And those are my favorite other actors that played the character.
Yes, sir.
Would you have him return as Tina?
Mm,
Yes. That'd be
Amazing.
Yes.
that would be cool.
Yes. Yes.
That would that'd be really cool. You come back as Tina, as obviously an adult, and Jason, who's physically compromised, like myself. I've always wanted to play the character one more time, but I don't think it'll happen at this point.
Jason and Tina have a child.
With
The child comes back and wears the mask because he's getting too old to do the killing.
But would the child
How about
have the powers?
Yes.
Okay.
The child would have the
The
telekinetic
telekinetic powers and then the strength of you.
Oh,
I think that would be
This is what I do when
unstoppable.
I'm at cons. I think about weird things. Like today, I was thinking, what if we did a movie with all the the characters like Jason, Michael Myers, Leatherface, and then, but they have children and they have these hot children, right? And they're all
Hot children?
these chicks with these stripper bodies, but they're wearing the mask of their dad, and they're like a squad, but they're like a killing squad. So the opposite of the Marvel heroes, they'd be like demonic heroes.
hot children.
These are the thoughts I have when I'm sitting at my table. I'm like, what about a movie about this? What about a movie about that?
I'm just picturing hot Freddy Krueger.
Right?
How does that work?
It doesn't.
That's a whole other thing I don't want to think about.
Because
You lead a scene from 3?
you guys remember what I always say, and if you would finish the sentence with me, Freddy is a
Bitch.
Yeah.
bitch. Correct.
Thank you.
And I tell Robert that all the time. I yell it when he's in the panel. And I just had T-shirts printed up. But not bitch, because that could be offensive to people, but I have shirts that I'll probably wear, maybe one tomorrow. Freddy sucks, that's all.
And
He says Jason's a pussy, and I said Freddy's a bitch.
If we've learned anything today, that would be the important point. You guys, unfortunately, we're gonna have to wrap it up. It's time for the photo op for you all, but you don't have far to go, and neither do you all. So put your hands together for our lovely Friday the 13th.
Thank you.
Freddy's a bitch. And go next door and get your photo taken and can see other people.
Very cool.
I'm not going anywhere.
Hey, you can stay here all night, that's fine.
We're staying here.
I got nowhere else to go,
Okay, wait,
so
wait.
yeah, why not?
Can you guys say hi, Papa, on the count of 3 for me? Because my dad just texted me. 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Papa!
Wait, can you do it one more time? 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Papa!
Hi, Papa.
He's gonna love
See, I
that. He
was
loves
gonna be
him so
rude,
much.
but I
When
wasn't.
we did 13 Fanboy, my dad came to New Mexico with us, and he just adores Kane now.
Did you ever see 13 Fanboy?
Oh, yeah.
He'll make you cry. I
Yeah.
look like shit, but he'll make you
I
cry.
die in her arms.
Literally, the worst
an
lighting
emotional
I've ever
scene.
had in my life.
Oh,
I couldn't believe it.
pretty good movie. I'm happy with.
He made everyone cry. Literally, my dad was in tears, the camera guy was in tears, the sound guys were in tears. It was pretty powerful.
It was a really emotional scene.
Yeah.
It really was.
It was fun.
It was a good
I've
movie.
always wanted to do something emotional like that because that's not what I'm known for.
Mm.
And I've always wanted to do a comedy. So
Yeah, I've seen
That-
you talk about that.
could be in the works.
In Fanel too, you did a really great job making people sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good acting, and
Yeah.
Playing Victor's father, you mean?
Victor's
No.
father, yeah.
Yeah.
And you probably know that when you hear in the Hatchet movies, you hear the distant daddy,
It's you or it's your son and
my oldest son and myself,
Yeah.
with our voices mixed together.
That's
Yeah.
neat.
Because,
That's cool.
he was pretty young at the time. I think that's cool. And my other son had a part in Ed Gein.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever saw Ed Gein.
Yeah.
There's a scene where a little boy is talking to somebody about wanting to catch frogs with the sheriff or something. That's my son, my young son.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of fun.
Very cool.
All right.
If you guys want to stay, you can. I'm not going anywhere, so
I feel like it's the heat, you guys.
I know it's getting to
I've
me
had a
too.
permanent headache, and I tried eating a banana, I tried eating some nuts. donuts. I've tried coffee. I've tried.
I think it's the heat, because I'm feeling it
It's
too.
just
Yeah.
like a.
Yeah.
No.
Good job, Kane.
Not with that camera going.
I was gonna shout Kane has a vagina, but my mom called me specifically right before I left. I don't want to hear about you saying this at this one.
We can just pretend I said it.
I was like, you took the time to call me about that, Mom. You leave Kane alone, okay, Mom?
I love that parental support.
Yeah.
Leave Kane alone.
Everybody picks on me.
I just like to know that Jason saved a life instead of taking a life for
Right?
once with you.
No,
That's,
he really did.
you know,
He really did.
I love that.
I'm like,
How many heroic things have you done that you don't remember any of the heroic things you did for me? Like, that's kind of crazy, right?
Well,
He just blocks them all out. Like, no nice things. I don't do that.
Happens so often, it's just a Tuesday.
I can't imagine what it would have been like for my mom if he hadn't have done that. You know, because the diapers were not going in. They were paid. They had full on gear. They were not going in. And my mom was like, you know, 10 years old, my first movie. We're on location. My mom kept pulling me aside, like, when's enough? Do I need to call SAG? Because you know they were working me more than they. I'm like, Mom, I'm fine. Don't you call nobody.
And
So it was a lot for her, you know.
You have to remember, we shot the movie not at a lake. It appears to be a lake, but it's a bayou in Bay Minette, Alabama. And so there, in a bayou, there's tide. So during the movie, if you pay attention, the dock, sometimes the water is way lower, and other times
right.
it's very high because of the tide.
Yeah.
And people always assumed it was just a lake. And there's another, in part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, I was telling people this earlier, that, you know, you shoot the film, then they edit, and they realize certain things are missing. So they have to go do pickup shots, they call it. And the worst continuity issue ever is in our movie. And they establish, before the sleeping bag scene, they establish a tent.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a dome. And then you see me come up to the tent, cut through it and grab the woman, and it's like a house. A totally different shape. And I was always amazed that nobody ever said, what the fuck is that? Nobody notices because you see me cutting through it, you don't pay attention to the shape of the tent. But look at it next time you watch a movie, and you'll be astounded that nobody
How often
said
it is.
anything. No, so completely different.
Ted White, he helped out an actress on the set of Part 4 and got into it with Chuck Zito because she was suffering from hypothermia in the raft.
Yeah,
And
that's
he almost
right.
lost his job because of it. And he's
Chuck
told.
Is that
Zito.
Judy?
Huh?
Was that Judy?
Yes. Yes.
Chuck
And,
Zito he's a stunt guy, but
Well,
he wasn't coordinated.
Joe
Zito. you
Joseph
mean.
Zito. Joseph Zito.
Chuck Zito's a stunt guy I worked with a lot, but.
Yeah, Joseph
Where's that
Joe
music
Zito.
coming from?
And he got into it.
Do you hear it, like, randomly?
Yeah.
Outside.
Really?
It's got
Really?
the bands. It's the bands
There's
outside.
bands?
But stunt people are always taking care of the people, actors and
And that's
whatnot.
part of your job,
Yeah.
really, especially if you're a stunt coordinator.
Yeah.
You're there to make the action look good, but you're also there for safety for the actors.
I've heard nothing but good things about stunt people on set looking after the actors and themselves.
Right.
It's true. It's
And
true.
then there's, actors that say they do all their stunts.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Who would that
It starts with Eric B. and it has Willis. B. Willis.
Oh, no.
Oh,
not
it wouldn't
him.
be Willis?
I'm talking about, he has said it too, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting the cue from the security guard out in the hallway.
out.
He's giving me the hook.
Hell no,
We-
we
Mike,
won't go.
listen,
everyone needs to
He can do what he wants.
submit to a
Now
cavity
it's time
search.
for our song.
Your eyes lit up. See, there I said cavity search in his, hey, what?
Very nice. Now that is how you end a Q&A. Cavity search, ladies and gentlemen. Give them one more round of applause. Thank you both so much.
I've been wanting to do that the whole time. That's all I was thinking about the whole